I'm Alex,
I'm Cisco.
and this week we're going to be finishing up our discussion of the DC Comics timeline that we've been doing for the last two episodes. We're going to cover basically everything that happens in Rebirth that is of consequence to you in the larger scheme of the DC universe.
hmm
Yeah. Uh, but because we're talking about Rebirth and because a lot of the big events in Rebirth are very attached to Batman, you can
Yeah,
basically draw a straight line through Batman's mythos to the first big event of Rebirth, which is Metal.
yep, and
Um,
he is the direct cause of this crisis.
yeah. So
Um,
you want to start with exactly like how Batman, how they've retconned Batman into being something else for Metal?
yeah, so I believe it in Rebirth, the prelude to Metal.
Yes.
They have it starts off with
The
Batman
casting
going on. What?
is the comic called the casting?
I believe it's the casting,
And then the
where it's like
Forge.
it, and then it sets all the players up
Yeah.
for like it sets up the important players for Dark Knight's Metal, which is Batman, Superman, Hawkman, Hawkgirl.
Which is crazy that they came back.
It's crazy that Hawkman came back because he
Yeah.
wasn't in he wasn't in the comics for a while.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Um,
barely in them now, but
yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it basically centers around these 4, 5 people, with like great throwbacks that they're bringing back in with Mr. Terrific. He makes a full comeback.
Yeah, Martian
Um,
Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter comes back.
Yeah.
Thank God. Um, we already mentioned in the other 2 episodes with Wally West, he's back. And then also Plastic Man is back.
Just which is pretty great. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
A-
and like
And
they had alluded to it in the beginning of like the Justice League run where they showed this egg it with the colors of Plastic Man, but no one did anything with it until this
because
event.
it's just such a weird thing to show.
Yeah.
It was like just a
Uh
very strange panel.
yeah, so the casting starts off with Batman on this whole investigative journey to look for the what I'm gonna call the death metals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He
That's what they end up
over
calling them.
yeah, over the crises that have occurred throughout the DC timeline, Batman personally has just been exposed to all these different cosmic forces.
Yes.
Um, with one of the first ones being from Batman Road Home,
Yeah.
where Darkseid kills him and sends him back through time, and irradiating him with, I want to say, one of the first metals. There's in the DC comics, there's 9 metals. The first 5 escape me right now, but Batman was exposed to them.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Um,
pull up. I have some images of pages where they tell you exactly what he gets exposed to because there's a panel.
and then throughout Scott Snyder's run, he's also introduced to 2 more metals. Um, One of them with the Court of Owls that revives the owls. Electronium, Electrum.
Electrum. It's Electrum he gets exposed to in the Court of Owls, and then Dionysium when he fights Joker to the death in Endgame.
Yep, and
Prometheum brings him back.
yeah, that's the one where it's like that's the 8th metal that revives Batman and is supposed to create a new Batman every time Bruce Wayne, quote unquote, dies.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
and then the nth metal is he was exposed to himself when he looked into the he was trying to look into something with Green Lantern and Duke Thomas,
yep,
who is Signal. Um, they haven't really done much with his character since he was introduced.
yeah, but he's supposed to be a new Robin-ish character.
Yeah, he's part of the Bat family. He's an interesting character. I liked him when they
Yeah,
introduced him.
he's the meta of the family.
Yeah, they basically his introduction was to set up like series of, hey, there are these new string of metas in Gotham, and we're gonna have like a daytime comic in Gotham essentially,
Hmm.
where he fights during the day. He's like the day's Batman. Is the
Yeah,
idea?
and like they in Duke Thomas's introduction, it was "We Are Robin,"
Yeah,
which is like a bunch of street kids who this was when Robin was dead. Um, and Duke Thomas and a whole bunch of other like orphaned kids that, either Joker, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, that they killed their parents or whatever, they kind of band together in the underground with like patchwork Robin symbols and like fight
yeah.
crime on their own accord.
I liked We Are Robin. I thought it was interesting.
Um,
I wasn't like crazy about it, but like I enjoyed it.
I didn't really read it.
Yeah, that's what most people did.
Yeah. But yeah, so Batman was exposed to all these metals, basically irradiating himself to the vibration of the dark multiverse.
Yep.
Um, and then there's this point where Green Lantern and Duke are in Batman's cave, in a secret cave inside the cave, where Batman has basically locked up the Joker in
Yeah,
to figure out what the fuck is going on.
it's
Um,
pretty fucking crazy.
yeah, and then Joker basically beats the shit out of Green Lantern and Duke Thomas until Batman comes and then they all like beat him up,
Yeah,
whatever. Um, so then they have all the medals together, the medal of the gods, and like just a piece of every single medal, most of which is in Batman already.
yeah. Essentially, what's happened at by the beginning of Dark Knight's Metal is that Batman has been exposed to 8 of the metals that he needs to be exposed to
Hmm.
before like becoming a gateway for a primordial, well, I mean kind of a bat god.
Kind of, yeah.
He's not, but that's what they describe him as. He's what he looks like. It's
Hmm.
um it's also it's in canon reason why he's able to even do it is because he looks like a bat.
Hmm.
Um
And like Batman has been unknowingly his avatar on Earth.
yeah. Like Batman when he was sent back in time became he kind of became noticed by this Barbados.
Yeah,
This
who hitchbacked on him on his travels through time
yeah,
and into the mainstay universe.
building a kind of cult
Yep.
over time, like this bat cult,
Hmm.
which they touch
Um,
on as the story for Bruce Wayne: A Road Home progresses. Like Batman has like gained this following throughout time, so every time it
hmm.
gets kicked forward in time, like there's more people following the bat.
Yeah, because like there's like cave paintings of Batman.
Yeah,
There was stories of him being a pirate, which he was.
yeah,
And then him in the 18th century. Um, yeah, he just went throughout time and gained a
yeah,
cult following that didn't play out well.
yeah. Well, and originally that was just like a kind of a cool saying, like Batman just being there changed history.
Yep.
Like, and it's always been this way, kind of. It was kind of like this, hey, Batman is this important of a character that his mere existence in these time periods has fundamentally changed history.
Yep.
What has happened though during Dark Knight's Metal, we kind of it's retconned to be that Barbados has used Batman throughout history to gain a following, gain his own like cult, and make a portal through Batman to come into uh, the realm, essentially, like
Yep. And then
the DC universe.
when Batman thinks he solved it to seal the doorway, the Court of Owls kind of comes back and they're the ones who trick him into going into the wrong temple where Batman exposes himself to the ninth metal to like complete the circuit. And he opens the gateway.
Yeah.
with baby Darkseid.
Yeah, I forgot completely before I reread this over the past week that Baby Darkseid was in this comic.
Yep.
Because it's not a
It was very
huge.
brief.
It was very brief. It's not even a huge like moment. It's just like, and I was like looking at it earlier today. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
even like it's like Baby Darkseid's in this fucking thing, and he's wearing his little goggles. Like
To not shoot the beams.
it's so adorable.
Yeah, I need me a baby Darkseid.
Why don't they? You know, I don't. I'm not just gonna say something right now. Why didn't DC make a plushie out of that?
That
Like
I don't know. They missed the
they
chance,
they made
and
a
then
bunch of metal things, like a bunch
yeah,
of metal.
they
Like
missed the chance with
yeah,
baby
there
Darkseid.
was so much
But
marketing.
but now we have baby Yoda, so
Yeah, exactly. They could have been the Baby Yoda before Baby Yoda.
I don't think so.
You're right.
Yeah, so
I gave up
Batman
so easily.
becomes the gateway, and out of this gateway comes not only Barbatross, but also seven other Batmen.
Yes, there is,
Um,
and they each are kind of a like what if story
yeah,
of
they're like a
Batman
dark
as members of the
reflection.
Justice League.
They're a dark reflection of Batman as each member of the Justice League.
Yeah, we get introduced like right before this to the idea of a dark multiverse, where Hawkgirl, who has just been reintroduced into the mythos of DC, like literally in this comic in uh, Metal, basically goes, "Hey, we're looking for something," and then they have a map of the multiverse that you usually see, which is this kind of it's a sphere and then a bunch of spheres within it with numbers
It
on
is
it.
it with all 52 Earths
Yeah,
in the multiverse.
if you look up the DC multiverse, you'll know it has like gods and then sphere, other gods like outside of those Earths. But then she goes like, it came from here, and she flips it, the
And it's
metal,
just black.
and it's just black, and it's basically like all I see is the back of the map. But it's like so did we until recently. The idea of that there might be a dark multiverse, like an antithesis to what we are,
Yep.
exist. So, like, you get introduced to that, and then Batman essentially goes and becomes the portal, and they all come out. What each of them is one of Batman's worst fears about what could have happened. They're nightmares,
Yep.
essentially.
Yeah, of what he
Nightmares
could
come
have
forward.
done if pushed to the limit.
Yeah.
And the just to like talk more about the dark multiverse because it is a huge thing
It's very
from this
important.
point on. It's basically every crisis if they went bad.
Yeah.
If any crisis went bad, it's in the dark multiverse. Any situation that could have changed a hero, it could have it's in the dark multiverse. Like one
Yeah.
of the stories is if back when Batman Nightfall, where Bane breaks Batman's back
Yeah.
and John Paul Valley becomes the new kind of armored up Batman. It's like what if he remained Batman and Bruce didn't?
Yeah. Like
And it's just all these dark stories compiled, and the dark multiverse is infinitely greater than the the
yeah.
52 Earths.
The idea and we don't learn this until later, but Barbados, his job is supposed to be to eat the like dark like universes
Yep.
to get rid of them. They're not supposed to last forever. They're supposed to fall away. They're doomed to die. Um which is important when it comes to the motivation of these uh dark multiversal Batmen. Um because again, their Earths are guaranteed to die. They are also evil. They're just mostly evil.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to like a motivation, if
Yeah, they want to
doing nothing, they
survive.
want to survive. They want to take over the DC multiverse. Like we should just refer to it as the like main DC universe.
Yep. Do you want to go over the Batmen who come through the portal?
Yeah, let's touch on them. We have, uh, which I think is like the one that stands out the most is for in a lot of people's minds is the Batman who laughs.
Yep.
Obviously, very important. If you haven't seen a picture of them, they essentially look like the Joker with like kind of a dominatrix ish lot of amount of belts.
Yeah, and like
Right.
the way he's described as a Batman who always wins,
Yeah.
no matter what, because it's the best of both worlds. It's
Yeah.
like it's Batman's mind, but with Joker's morality.
Yeah. It's Batman infected, but with essentially like Joker toxin to the extreme that existed in Joker's heart.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a Batman who was there when Joker died. And he has like a bunch of robins that he holds with chains that are like ravenous. They the first thing that happens is they eat a bunch of members of the Court of Owls like instantly. That's the first thing that happens in when these people show up. The robins appear, and
Yep.
then everyone else comes out.
The Batman who laughs is it is the Batman of this group. He's the leader.
Yeah, he's a leader. Like everyone else is a Batman that is more based on a hero. He's kind of the only one that's based on a villain other than um well, Doomsday Batman.
Yeah.
There's one like one other that's based on a villain. The other ones are based on you have like a Batman who is Cyborg, you have Batman who is the Flash, you have like the Green Lantern Batman,
Yeah,
um
the
the
Red Death, the Murder
Ares
Machine,
Batman.
the Dawnbreaker, the Merciless, the
Yeah.
Devastator, and the Drowned, which is
Bryce Wayne.
the Bryce Wayne, the gender reversed
Yeah.
uh
Comes from Earth
Aquaman Batman.
Earth negative
Batwoman.
11,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like
Yep.
all their Earths are denoted as the a negative version of another Earth.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, so
like
positive 11 is the reverse gendered one,
yeah.
and negative 11 is the same thing but evil.
Yeah. It's
Or
essentially
not necessarily evil, just fucked
nightmare.
up. Yeah.
It's someone's nightmare. It, basically, if you've ever had a thought with fear involved, like it becomes real here.
Yep.
So no matter what, there's going to be infinitely more of them. But Barbados's job is to eat universes that uh, aren't like going to work, or and eat like the dark multiverse, keep it in check. That is essentially his function in the greater DC universe.
Yep, and the person who's supposed to be manning the forge isn't there anymore. He's gone. He
Yes.
left his post.
Yeah, there is a World Forge. So you have all of them show up, and instantly, Batman and Wonder Woman basically get turned into these. They get captured.
I
Right?
thought it was only Batman who got captured.
No, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but Wonder Woman doesn't come until later, like in Dark Knight's 5.
Yeah, but they're all captured.
Yeah, okay.
Like this panel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they all like turn into like these decrepit old skeletal kind of people, and then
Yeah, and then isn't uh and then another thing, Batman in for one of the crises with the Anti-Monitor, there was this machine that was supposed to destroy the multiverse.
yeah,
Batman kept it.
yeah, I know. Which is
But
it's psychotic.
which is very much true to who Batman is because he's done that with multiple other things, but they all come back and bite him in the ass.
Yeah, I
It's like,
mean,
yes, this
to be
very
fair,
dangerous multiversal destruction device. This could
yeah,
come in handy.
I mean that's kind of his thing. Um, I mean this all like kind of kicks off like the. We should say this though: the Justice League does at the beginning of this story, like the very beginning, before anything else happens, they do a Voltron.
Yeah,
they do a
yeah.
they do a Megazord Voltron thing on Warworld. and then they come back to find that there's a mountain in the middle of Gotham.
Hmm.
Like that's how it all kicks off. It's not super important, but it is funny.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They
It's pretty cool.
Toy
Toyman,
Man comes
yeah.
back.
Which is it's wild. It's a whole wild thing. But I digress. Um, Essentially, what happens at this point is all of the Batman Who Laughs take over the world,
Yep.
basically. Like the entire world is taken over the course of the story. The heroes, like the world is completely warped and changed. Like fundamentally, it's darker. Like shit's messed up outside. There are dragons.
The Joker
There's
dragons.
yeah, they're Joker dragons. Um, yeah, it's there are like
Yeah,
nano Alfreds.
and then Barbatross has Batman trapped in the dark multiverse, kind of like not reliving his worst nightmares, but
Yeah,
like being forced to witness possible nightmares,
yeah,
which is
and
just fueling Barbatross.
it should be said, people have died like off screen, like characters that you know have died off screen. It's alluded to.
Hmm.
Dick Grayson brings up that he lost the Teen Titans and that like kids have died. Like
Yeah, and like a lot of the minor heroes are gone.
yeah,
I think it's alluded to that Supergirl is dead.
yeah,
And a lot of heroes connected with the main crew are dead.
yeah. So it's not like things are. It's not a small thing, right? It's a very serious um, reality changing for the DC Universe event.
Yeah.
Um, but Superman gets away. He tries to stop it, and then he gets captured again.
Yep. And then he kind of lives his worst nightmares with Bruce.
Yeah,
Because now they wanted to capture Superman and now are just using him as a battery.
yeah. There and Bruce Wayne is being held by Nightmare Superman,
Yep.
which I thought was very cool. Like, there's one like wearing Lex Luthor's Superman armor and
Hmm.
stuff. There's like one who's dressed up like a Batman kind of look. What and he's like brought there, and uh, Bruce Wayne looks incredibly old.
Yeah, like he's aged up to like if you've ever watched Batman Beyond
Yeah,
and looked at that Bruce Wayne, he's a lot older than that Bruce Wayne.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
He
but
has
eventually they
he
do
has
get
a wait.
free.
You know how he gets free though? Because I'm looking at it again and I forgot that this is
Oh,
how he
he imagines
he has
the Kryptonite
the
gauntlet with
kryptonite
every kind of
rainbow,
kryptonite. Yeah.
uh, which is wild. Because there's all these Supermen, but they're all like they're all weak to some kind of kryptonite.
And they're also a figment of this place that he's in. So
Yeah,
they're not real.
yeah, exactly. They're nightmares. They're
Because
nightmares in less the sense of the dark multiverse nightmares, and more
mhm.
of like where they are in like the middle of the world forge.
Yeah, and then a person who hasn't been around in a really long time since like the early 2000s makes a comeback in Dark Knight's Metal. Dream of the Endless.
Yeah, which is wild.
Um who talks to Bruce Wayne before like in the prelude to Metal saying yeah, if you ever need me just call me. And then when he escapes, he calls to Dream, and Dream is the one who takes him and Superman out of this nightmare place because it is in Dream's realm of control.
Yeah,
Because he is the king of dreams and nightmares and all that stuff, which the Endless could very well be its own episode because they're they're a huge topic in early DC, not so
yeah.
much now.
Not so much now. But you'd probably recognize the character even if you didn't know their name.
Yeah, it's the
They're
Sandman.
they're visibly recognizable.
So yeah, Batman and Superman escape. And then Dream kind of gives him this hint because he can't really help them more than what he already did.
Yeah.
He gives them a hint to look for Hawkman,
Yep.
who is in the World Forge, basically guarding it, making sure it can't turn on.
And keep in mind, we haven't seen Hawkman in, I don't know, like maybe even a decade. He wasn't really in,
He was in the New 52,
was he?
barely. He was in the Justice League of America.
Oh, that's why I didn't know.
Yeah, and then that it was a very short run. I think it was maybe only 20 issues, and
Yeah.
then it got dissolved.
Yeah, like it's been a while though. It's been a while
Yeah,
since he's had any impact at all. Hawk Girl has been missing. Hawk Girl in this story, um,
she's a super spy.
she's a super spy. She also, I don't think she knows she's Hawk Girl. Isn't that like the idea?
Yeah,
Like,
she doesn't know. All she knows is that her name is Kendra Summers, and
yeah,
she works for Spiral.
yeah, yeah, Spiral. Well, no,
Um,
she works
it,
for the Blackhawks, right? Isn't that what they call themselves?
she works for some like big secret organization.
Yeah, they're Blackhawks. That's what it is.
Um,
They wear like a little hawk medallion.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but, so Superman and Batman get to the World Forge, which is done. Like there's no embers. It's completely dark.
yeah.
Um, and Hawkman, who no longer resembles Hawkman, is this giant, towering behemoth of a monster.
Yeah. And Hawk Girl has turned into this
Deathhawk.
Lady Blackhawk. It's what she calls herself, but I think Deathhawk would have been a cooler name.
Yeah, because like
Deathhawk would
they
have been way
go
cooler.
because they go to retrieve her hammer, which is like encased in the Rock of Eternity for some reason.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
Wonder Woman gets it, beats the shit out of Black Adam,
you mean
and
Shazam?
then
We'll get to that.
and then immediately just gets shot by the Batman who laughs.
Yeah. Uh what did you think of the Hawkman like Dragon of Barbados design?
I thought it was a pretty damn good design.
Yeah, I was really about it when I saw it because I'm like, this is the coolest Hawkman's ever been.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Um,
Hawkman is like one of those characters that I'm like, I couldn't care less about if Hawk Girl's not there.
because they're very much just. My issue with Hawkman and Hawkgirl is that they're very interchangeable
Yeah,
because they're the same person.
I think the way Hawk Girl is written in the Justice League run that comes up after this is
It's
infinitely
better.
better than
Yeah.
anything they've done because it takes Hawkman out of the equation. um, but yeah, like right now, like everything that's happening is happening like in like the World Forge and stuff like that. But in Gotham City, there are Joker serpent dragons flying around, which look cool as shit. I mean,
Yeah, they're basically patrolling the skies
yeah.
in the city.
Besides, like we have the Batman who laughs. Talking to Barbados, being like, we're doing it, my lord. Anti music is playing. We're living it,
Yeah,
essentially.
he is very much the Batman who laughs. Very much is in control of everything at the
Yeah,
moment because he knows what they're planning because it's what he would plan.
yeah. And then
So
at the center of the Earth, it's Aquaman and Deathstroke find. What was it? My God. They find a machine. Like there's a machine in the center of the Earth at the core with like Atlantean technology trying to It's there's nth metal in the core.
Oh yeah, and they're like trying to find scraps of nth metal.
Yeah, like
And then isn't and Flash is on the multiversal ship with alternate universe versions of Superman and
yeah,
heroes from the real multiverse.
yeah,
Which gets attacked by the Red Death, which is Batman and Flash together,
which is
which is fucked.
I think it's a really fucking dark story. I showed it to Ion and she was like, "Oh my god," like
Yeah.
because
Um,
Batman attaches Barry Allen to the front of his car, the Batmobile, and drives him into the Speed Force, turning him to dust.
and then just basically smashing both of
I
them together.
Aya's in the chat. She's like, "Yeah, what the fuck?"
Yeah, and then Batman is the main personality, but Barry Allen is still there
Yeah,
talking to him. It's
it's
like,
not
Bruce, what are you doing?
it's not like Bruce Wayne that has the Speed Force. It's literally like an amalgamation of the two characters, and
Yep, which
and the design is so cool.
yeah, he's like in this red kind of like all flash suit
It's a
with
red
like
and black Flash with like
um
Batman, like bat shaped ears.
which in a really cool moment in Metal, he gets polarized to the multiverse.
Yeah,
So Barry Allen comes to the forefront instead of the red and black. He just becomes all golden.
it's so cool.
But then he immediately gets killed
Yeah,
by the Batman who laughs.
I hope that eventually they bring that character back in like a fun way in the Flash.
They brought back the Red Racer,
Yeah,
the Red Death, in I believe Death Metal, but it was an illusion.
yeah. It wasn't like I want like Wally West to like meet up with Red Death Barry Allen. Yeah,
I don't think he's dead.
I don't
I
think
don't,
it'll happen. I think that they're done with the Dark Multiverse now,
yeah.
for at least like a couple years.
Their one shots though for the Dark Multiverse were really amazing.
They are the Marvel what if of the DC universe.
On top of already the DC
Elseworlds.
what ifs.
Yeah, like but they are like a contained like you know what you're gonna get when you jump into a Tales from the Dark Multiverse.
Yep.
It's gonna be
Like
a warped
so the
version of events, not just like a
yep,
fun
the
thing.
first page is like what happened in the real event, and then it tells you the rest of this comic is what happens if it fucked up.
What if we moved that ring 3 inches? I love that that was the whole
Doomsday Clock,
like
yeah.
all of Doomsday Clock was I'm gonna move a ring 3 inches and see what happens.
Um,
Anyway, speaking of Green Lantern and Mister Terrific are on Thanagar,
yep, with
um,
Plastic Man,
with Plastic Man, and also
John Jones.
they find out that Martian Manhunter's alive and he's just on Thanagar. He's been on
Yep,
Thanagar Prime, exploring and things,
yeah, he's just been spying on the Thanagarians.
which is wild. It's like it was such a great reveal to see Martian Manhunter again,
Mm-hmm.
because Martian Manhunter is one of those characters that's like really core to the Justice League.
Yeah, he was very synonymous with the League
Yeah,
in both the early 2000s Justice League run and then the Justice League TV show.
yeah. Like he's usually like the man in the Watchtower,
Yep.
even though he's supposed to be roughly as strong as Superman.
Yeah.
Like
But
in a
he can
normal situation, he's supposed to be as strong as Superman.
yeah, but he can be taken down with only a match.
Yeah. Well, he's afraid of fire. He's not weak to fire. He's afraid to fire.
Weak, afraid.
Yeah, it's about they art like depending on who's writing it, they'll throw it in interchangeably.
Yeah.
I think I like to think that he's just afraid of it because
Mars burning and
yeah,
everything.
that makes more sense than a being that can like change himself on like a molecular level, like to
Weak to fire.
I'm oh no, ooh he can phase
A
through
lighter.
things. He
Oh
can
no, a
phase through
lighter.
like objects like he's weak to fire.
Yeah.
Like what?
Um
But yeah, there's a whole thing.
so and then it comes to this culmination where all the heroes come back to Earth from their own separate missions. And Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. No, not Wonder Woman. Batman and Superman kind of like beat up Hawkman.
Yeah.
And then Batman gets the bright idea to reignite the Forge by throwing himself in.
Yeah.
Because like it powers on hope of the multiverse.
You know Batman, always full of hope.
Yeah, sure. But Superman does give him a jump start. Um,
I'll say this. I just kind of like thought about it. Wonder Woman would have made more sense to be the character for this one, and Batman would have made more sense to be the character
for
for
the other
Death
one,
Metal.
yeah.
Just based on like, but like Batman is a better selling character. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, so
you'll see what I
Batman,
mean when we get there.
yeah, Batman and Superman come out of the World Forge in the 10th metal, which is like the omniversal metal,
Yeah,
and they just come out platted in it, and they get their age and youth and vitality back.
everyone looking like
Um,
a snack.
yeah, and then on top side on Earth, Wonder Woman and Hawk Girl are fighting dark multiversal counterparts of themselves and other heroes.
Yeah, and then they get caught
Um,
up in the ride up from Batman and Superman.
yep, and then Batman throws mini batarangs of the 10th metal at the members of the Justice League, and they
It's
all get this
it's
armor.
such a cool. It's shining, silvery, like just awesome spiky armor.
Yeah,
It's metal.
yeah, metal,
And then their Batman rides. He punches a Joker dragon in the nose,
and
breaks
then
its nose, and
commands it.
then rides it. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, so
I
while Superman, Green Lantern, and the rest of the Justice League are fighting the main ground forces, Batman goes into the mountain that appeared in Gotham
Yeah,
to fight the Batman Who Laughs, who has the Monitor strapped to a bomb.
the Over Monitor. Yeah,
Yeah, which is like the Over Monitor is the person
he's the
who,
monitor in charge of the monitors.
yeah, and like he just keeps an eye on the multiverse to make sure
Yeah,
nothing happens.
yeah, and Batman shows up, no longer wearing the the 10th medal.
Yeah, because it doesn't work in the cave.
Yeah, he's like, "You call this a bat cave?" And then he deals with the Robins immediately. Starts going toe to toe with the Batman Who Laughs. He's like, "You're not Batman. You're like a bad dream," and he just beats the shit out. But the Batman Who Laughs actually gets the upper hand because he's more
Because
brutal.
the Batman Who Laughs is more brutal and he's also faster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's more
Batman.
lithe.
Yeah, Batman. Bruce is just stronger because he has more meat on his bones. But the Bat Who Laughs is a very emaciated, so he's faster, more
He
agile,
uses
and he's getting
guns.
more hits in.
Yeah. But just as it looks like the Batman Who Laughs is gonna kill Batman, the Joker shows up and shoots the Batman Who Laughs in the shoulder with one of those like
Yep.
uh, boom flags. Like a flag just shoots through Batman Who Laughs' shoulder, popping out the other side. Like that's his bang. Um, and Batman and the Joker team up
Yeah, they
to
kind of have
fight
this
the
cool
Batman Who
moment where
Laughs.
it's like, yeah, we're not going to talk about this ever again.
I'll take the legs. You go for the face. Like it's
Yep.
and it's a really cool panel just to see it. They like it's brutal. They just fight for like a couple pages of the Batman Who Laughs like gets his fingers cut off by the Joker. Joker's using his like acid. Batman's fucking going to town. Like the Dark Multiverse Batmen, while this is happening outside, are being dealt with by the Justice League. Uh, Aquaman stabs
Rice.
Bryce Wayne, the drowning, the drowned. Batman. Uh, Batman escapes the cave with the monitor, and the monitor's like, "You have to rebuild it together. Like, you have the power to fix this now if you all work together. You can use the 10th metal to connect everyone and change things back to how they were." So they all hold hands and they like kind of imagine it.
Yeah, and they kind of like put back together the source wall.
Yeah.
And then it kind of cuts to an epilogue, which threw me off for a second because it was like,
Where they're having a party.
yeah, and then they're just having a party.
Yeah.
And then this kind of leads back into Rebirth, where on the table they have like the plans for the Hall of Justice.
Which I thought I was so fucking psyched when I saw that. Cuz it's a great moment where they're just it's Batman, Superman and Wonder Woman walking into like Batman's office at his like mansion, and just on the table it's just like Hall of Justice. It's like a bunch of blueprints on his
And it's
desk, and
like,
that's how it ends.
yeah, because like they just talked about like, oh, what's gonna happen the next time something like this happens, and Batman's like, I don't know, but don't worry,
Yeah.
I have a plan.
There is a page or like 2 pages where they talk about things that are something's changed because they built it back themselves. Not meaning to, they have done something that has changed the uh, multiverse. They've broken it somehow.
Yeah, like they didn't repair it
Yeah,
the correct way.
yeah. There's like a talks of dark stars, which is something that comes up in
Green
Green
Lantern.
Lantern. The Dark Pantheon, which is something that happens in Wonder Woman. Atlantis rising from the water.
Yep, the Flash War.
Flash War. Like, it alludes to basically everything that's going to happen in the next like 3 years. Before death metal happens. And then there is a great panel where it's Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne playing guitar, and Alfred on the drums wearing his
His tie on his
fucking
head.
tie on his head, which I think that's just such a great touch.
I mean, and then you have everybody looking dapper,
Yeah,
even Swamp Thing.
they're having a party.
Yeah, they're congratulating each other on making it out and putting things back together, even though in another few years it's all gonna get fucked even worse.
Yeah, but then fixed even better.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
for now.
we haven't seen it. We haven't seen much. It's only been a couple
Um,
months.
and
Uh,
so this
yeah,
leads into Rebirth, which they continue on with the Justice League runs and their individual runs. And then in the Justice League runs, like in some of the issues, Lex Luthor is bringing back the Legion of Doom.
yeah. Lex Luthor. Uh, Before this point, like up until like after Metal, has still been trying to be a good guy.
Yep.
Lex Luthor wants to be a good guy. He's like, after the events of Forever Evil, he turned a new leaf, and it seems like he's been genuine the entire time. Right? Like, it's not like an act. For the first
Yeah, no,
time,
he's trying to do
we know
good.
it's not an act, which is like, it's crazy. But something happens in uh, the events of the first Justice League comic that comes out of Metal, which is called No Justice,
Hmm.
where essentially one of the things that happens from the events of Metal is that four Titans, they're kind of like what from Marvel.
The Celestials.
They're kind of like the Celestials of Marvel. They're going to destroy what like they're laying seeds in planets, or there have been seeds in planets, and they're going to destroy those planets. Earth is one of those planets. Kalu, where Brainiac is from, is another one. can't remember the other two.
Um, is it Mogo?
Did they wait? Like the living Green Lantern planet?
Like, is Mogo one of the planets?
I don't
Because
remember.
I know they had like four different teams with each one of them having villains on the team.
Yeah, it was villains and heroes teaming up, which is kind of a theme for where DC starts to go. Um, for a little bit. At least it seems like that's where they're going. Um, anyway, it's not super important the specifics. Uh, what you need to know from No Justice is Starro gives Starro the Conqueror, the Justice League's first enemy that they fight, gives its life to
To sacrifice
save the
itself.
world, which is wild.
Yep, and Batman keeps a little piece called
Yeah,
Jarro.
who is the best character to come out of anything.
Yep, he is Robin.
He's
He's the best
so
Robin.
good. I
He
thought
is
he
the
would be
best
annoying.
Robin.
I was so sure he was going to be annoying when I heard about it, but he's so good.
Yep.
Jarro's so cool. Um, and Lex Luthor, something happens with Lex Luthor that leads him to be like,
Quit the Justice League.
I'm done doing good. I'm all about Doom now.
Yeah, it was also due to in Action Comics Rebirth,
Mm.
where Superman comes back and he's like, "Yep, Lex Luthor's bad. He's always
Yeah.
bad. He's always going to be bad."
There was a lack of trust to begin with that definitely didn't help.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
but yeah, so we go through No Justice. They save the day. Then in the first issue of the new Justice League run, something starts hurtling towards Earth from the source wall. And they take to calling it the totality.
Yep, and it's kind of a doorknob.
Yeah, it's kind of a doorknob. And we have Green Lantern basically being like, okay, what do we do? Do we let it hit it or do we stop it? Like, and they kind of go, they think about it. They have like a conversation among the Justice League in like their
Mind
brain.
Palace.
Yeah, it's essentially like a mind boardroom where they're all sitting at the desk. Um, and they kind of make the decision to let it hit because it's better to be open to like the unknown. Was kind of the idea. Um, but in the moments before it hits, Green Lantern start not Green Lantern. Martian Manhunter starts seeing things. He has a vision of
Yep,
all the
of
horrible shit that's going to happen.
oh yeah. And things that he didn't know happened with
Yeah,
himself personally.
yeah. With a boy,
Yeah, a redheaded young boy in
a young boy, and he's trapped in like
a glass box.
glass box, and this redhead young boy's looking at him with a bunch of things.
Yeah, with the very much "you want to be my friend" look.
It's important. It's
Um,
strange that it's important, but it's important.
yeah, so
Anyway, yeah,
this doorknob crashes into Earth, and then I don't remember the specifics of it, but Lex Luthor gets his hand on it.
yeah. They try to protect it. It ends up in the hands of the Legion of Doom. Lex Luthor then goes and uses it in a old bar that his dad is a member of. Because in this universe, in this like iteration of the DC universe, Lex Luthor's dad is a drunk who like squandered his like life, and Lex Luthor like kind of grew up in spite of his father. At least that's how he remembers it.
Hmm.
Um, but what Lex Luthor sees on the other end of that doorway, after going in and basically threatening to blow the place up or blowing the place up, I can't remember if he did it or not. He gets everyone to leave.
I think he blew up the place.
Yeah, I think he killed some people. He sees a future where he is like,
oh, Lex World.
yeah, Lex World, where he's kind of viewed as like this, I don't know, like
Messiah.
Yeah, Messiah is the word I'm looking for. I was supposed to say like Christ-like figure, and I was like, not exactly Christ-like, but kind of Christ-like. Um, and they're like, what happens? He's like, we chose Doom, man. Like,
Doom is the way,
Doom
guys.
is the way. It's lit. And
It's Doom, dude.
Doom,
Doom.
Doom. Uh. So they choose. It's like they chose Doom, and like so Lex Luthor comes back. He's like, okay, let's Doom it up.
Doom.
Doom. Uh.
Doom.
So he starts setting things in motion. He gets to the tail of the Legion of Doom, which is uh Cheetah,
It's made up of Cheetah,
Sinestro,
Sinestro, Gorilla
the
Grodd.
the Joker at the beginning.
The who I his issue. Okay,
It's great.
so the Joker's in it. Black Manta's in it. And then it's just Lex.
Yeah.
So it's the six of them.
Oh, and Baby Turtle,
Oh yeah, the baby.
the Still Force.
Yeah, I don't really. It's a baby.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
like a character. Like he's there for a very important reason.
yeah, but he's more being used.
Gorilla Grodd wears him on a Bjorn.
Yeah, yeah,
it's it's really funny actually. I don't know why. It's just
yeah, and
like
then Sinestro is no longer using the Yellow Lantern Ring of Fear.
yeah.
He's using the Phantom Ring.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff that starts getting set up in this Justice League run. We're not going to talk about all of it because we want to make sure we finish in the next like hour. But
Yeah. So,
essentially
uh,
what it comes down to is there are new forces in the world for the Flash that
yep,
he talks
the
about.
Still Force, the Strength Force,
The speed well there's the Speed Force and then there's the
Still Force.
no, there's a Thought one though. There's the one with the brain.
Yeah, we'll touch on that
Yeah.
in another time
Yeah.
because that run of the Flash I didn't read.
You didn't read? You should.
No, I did not. It was too confusing for me.
You should. It gets better. I stopped reading around that time, and then I caught back up, and it ties in really well with what they do in like the actual Justice League. But anyway, I only bring it up because it ties into
Yeah,
the lead up into what Lex Luthor's plan is. What the whole goal of the Legion of Doom is to collect these primordial
forces. Oh, and
forces.
Brainiac is also part of the Legion.
Later, he is.
Yeah,
Like very near the end, Brainiac joins in because Lex Luthor basically like he's like, "Hey, have a sense of wonder, huh?" And Brainiac's like, "Okay."
yeah. But then like Lex
Pretty
Luthor is
funny.
kind of having these mad ravings of a person he remembers but can't really remember, and like it's whispering in his ear. And then the person he goes to, which is a person that everybody thought was dead, and there's only three people off the top of my head that know that this person's still alive, and what it's Batman, Lex Luthor, and Joker.
Yeah.
And
Well, doesn't
Joker's
doesn't Superman know?
yes, he does
Because
because they
it's
also touch
Batman
back on it.
Superman they talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah, they touch on it. Yep.
Yeah. No one else knows though because he's being kept underneath the uh, Hall of Justice.
Yeah. So, and then Joker's requirements for joining the Legion of Doom was number one to not use this Batman
Yeah.
because nothing good will ever come of using this Batman.
Yeah.
But what does Lex Luthor do? He goes to the Batman Who Laughs, who,
Has been captured like since the end of Metal.
yeah,
At
and he
this
just
point, there's a whole storyline about it. Very cool.
and he's just been under the Hall of Justice that Lex Luthor goes into because this is when he had access to it. He goes in and he has this conversation with the Bat Who Laughs, who gives him the name of the person he's thinking about, Perpetua.
Yeah.
Um,
And Perpetua is, I think, in a lot of ways, what DC has been building towards for a very long time.
yeah,
Like, just with the power scaling that we've been doing
yeah, with
over the
like
years.
from threat to crisis.
It's the natural progression. We've seen Perpetua before, not knowing it though, in a
Yeah.
couple comics. Because Perpetua is the creator of the DC multiverse.
Yep, she is like the mother of all.
She is a hand of the source,
Yeah,
which
so
is
like
the creator
this
of everything. The source
yeah.
is the what makes up everything. If you think of it like as a omnipresent, like God kind of entity,
Hmm.
it's everywhere. This would be like the hand of God.
Yeah, and like in very literal terms, in multiple issues of primarily in my memory, the Green Lantern is like a hand opening up with the multiverse in it,
Yeah,
and it's her hand.
yeah. And Perpetua looks kind of like a alien. I with like kind of horns. I should just pull up a
It
picture.
just think of a smoother Hela from Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good one. Yeah.
Like if instead of like the jagged crown, it's kind of all smoothed over.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
but let's go through essentially what Lex Luthor wants here, which is just to revive Perpetua,
Perpetua.
bring Perpetua back.
Yep. And then Joker kind of like he warned Lex about this that it wouldn't go well. And then Joker single-handedly just takes down the Legion of Doom, but not to kill them. Like he takes them down to show them that he could have, and then leaves because he knows the Batman Who Laughs is going to do something much worse to all of them.
Yeah. Oh, here's a great way to think about it. Just to understand what Perpetua is. Mixoplitic is like Mr. Mixoplick, whatever the fuck you want to call him.
Mixoplixic.
Mixoplixic. Perfect. Um, is a fifth dimensional being. He's a fifth dimensional imp. That means he exists in a realm above the fourth dimension. Like, Perpetua is a sixth dimensional being existing above him.
Yep.
So, Mixoplitic can, like, change everything about the world because to him, essentially, we are what a one dimensional image is to us.
Yeah, we're
Like,
drawings to him.
we're drawings to him. Like beyond him, like Perpetua is six dimensional. Like he is a 2D, like a line to her, if that
Yep.
makes sense. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, she's just looking at paper with cartoons on it.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, also we should talk about this really quickly. She is the mother of the
Overmonitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the Forge Master.
yeah, and the Orange World guy who becomes a member of the Justice League.
For a
Spoiler.
brief stint, yeah.
Very cool. um,
Um, and then basically the rest of this Justice League run is them preparing for this war.
yeah, it seems like they're gonna prevent Perpetua from being like awoken. There's this there is this moment where Lex Luthor blows himself up.
Get to fake his death.
He fakes his death. He shows it to the world, and then he starts sending whatever a villain needs to complete their plans, like to do
Like,
the
yeah,
most
like whatever
evil,
they want.
whatever
Yeah.
they want. He sends them something. So villains and a couple like heroes too.
Yeah, he
Get
reaches out to them.
boxes from Lex Luthor, and Lex doesn't look like Lex because he is being reborn in the body of kind of a proto-human.
Yeah, he's being
It's the best way I can
remade
put it.
into an apex predator.
Yes, because essentially what it was is the Martians and like Earthlings used to be one being, and then they were mindless, like
Like
just
they were just predators.
the idea was that they would take over other multiverses.
Yeah, and they were Perpetua's army
Perpetua's goal was to destroy or like to conquer other
other
multiverses.
multiverses, which
Um,
which is very cool because DC Comics included Marvel Comics into this.
yes, well, because when they did their crossovers, the source wall is in both of those universes. Like in the source wall exists in the Marvel universe because it existed in the amalgam.
Yep.
Like so, the source wall separates. It's essentially like this barrier all of the universe. It's not clear how you find it.
Yeah, you just keep going until you go.
It doesn't make much sense. They don't really explain it. It's not important. Um, it's like a physical wall
Yeah,
with
that separates all these different comic
yeah.
universes.
So somewhere out there, there's Marvel. All the hands are essentially like the different
Six
writers
dimensional
and
beings.
companies.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you want to get meta with it, Perpetua is DC Publishing.
Yeah, so each publishing is the six dimensional being
Yeah,
of each respect, like the Marvel universe, Image universe, whatever.
yeah. So
Um,
here's what I think. I'm just gonna say it right now because we're bringing it up. Just want to really quick. I think that there's going to be a crossover event coming
I really hope
in the
so.
next 10 years.
I hope so.
I think that there might be talks with Marvel and DC uh, to get some chocolate in the peanut butter, as it were.
Yeah, because both heroes and villains from both
Yeah.
respective companies have gone through major changes.
Yeah, and comics as a whole are still suffering like a. They're having trouble selling still. This
Yeah,
would be like a really great initiative for them to be
but
like, hey, you guys like comics, right? All the comics are gonna fight each other.
yeah,
Like,
you like that, right?
you like that? You like crossover episodes, right? That's why the MCU is popular, right?
Um, but getting back to
Aggressive
Lex
Marvel and
Luthor,
DC.
Martian Manhunter kind of goes on this soul searching thing
Yeah,
with Hot Girl because now
they're a
they're an
thing,
item.
which I like. I like
Um,
that writing.
yeah,
I think it made sense.
they kind of go to not a parallel Earth, but kind of uh,
It's a made up future by the
where
World
everything is
Forager,
perfect.
where everything's perfect, and all would have to do is hit a thing and set it in place for it to become the timeline. The the big threat that they're all undergoing is that the the hands from the source, like other entities like Perpetua, are going to come and destroy the DC universe
To
because
stop Perpetua.
Perpetua's been fucking shit up. Like, and no one's noticed yet because Perpetua's been imprisoned in the source wall since the beginning of like time, essentially,
Yep.
by
And
the
the
Monitor,
three
Anti Monitor, and
siblings.
the Warforger.
Yeah, they're the ones who betrayed her and put her into the source wall along with the majority of her armies.
Yeah, so like the only reason this is happening is because Lex Luthor awoke Perpetua, has been trying to awake Perpetua,
Yep.
um,
Then
and
the Justice League,
trying to turn everyone over to Doom.
yeah, which oof.
That was such a
Uh
rough moment.
yeah, so the Justice League gets the World Forger to join them.
Mhm.
Then they look for the Overmonitor, which was fairly easy. The
Yeah,
Overmonitor was basically just like, okay, yeah, there wasn't a fight like with the World Forger. And then the only issue
they don't know where the
is
Anti Monitor is.
to get to the Anti-Monitor,
Yeah,
which they go to his homeworld of Cord,
Cord.
in the anti-universe.
Yeah, I think. Again, all I remember is that yeah, no, it is in the Anti Universe. because they're like, this is weird. I remember they're like, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah, because matter and antimatter, the antimatter universe, they're not supposed to meet.
Yeah,
But he's gone and he has killed his entire workforce of Quarians.
yeah.
Um,
The anti monitor being the villain of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
yep.
That's how far we've
Which
come.
they had brought him back for the Dark Side War as like a misunderstood person.
Yeah, and
Because his
I
name,
think the writing makes more sense that way too.
yeah, because his name isn't the Anti-Monitor, it's Mobius.
Yeah,
He's the one who made the Mobius chair that Metron sits on in the New Gods.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they
I
can't
mean,
find him. They can't find him, and they only have the Overmonitor and the World Forger, and they're like, "Well, shit. I guess this is what we have." And then uh, Lex Luthor and Martian Manhunter kind of go to uh, a deserted military base where the Martian Manhunter was captured as a child and experimented on by Lex Luthor's father.
yeah,
And the little boy with the red hair that tries to be friends with a child Manhunter is Lex.
yeah. It's revealed that it's Lex, and it's kind of like this oh shit moment. That makes sense.
Um,
Like,
but immediately after this big revelation, Lex absorbs the Martian Manhunter into his body.
yeah, Lex like the Martian Manhunter like basically like gets Lex to meet with him because he wants to like appeal to his humanity.
Yeah,
He's
which
like, listen, you were this boy, you were lied to, your mind has been uh your memories have been like overwritten.
yep.
Your father isn't this drunk like failure. He was made this way by a cabal that like he worked for.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this whole history of like the totality and things being involved with like Lex Luthor's father too. So like there's that. Um, then at some we should try to get through this quickly so we can talk about death metal. Um, Lex Luthor becomes the apex predator.
Yep,
Uh,
absorbs the Martian Manhunter, and so
Hawkgirl's
he
not
has
happy.
no.
She's gonna kill Lex Luthor. It's important because it changes the outcome of the story. Um, one of the things that they got from that alternate universe, kind of alternate future, perfect world, was a son of
Yep, Martian Manhunter and Hawkgirl.
yeah, and he comes back with him. He's like essentially real now. He's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
He's a real boy.
yeah, but the heroes say they're basically like we need to make our own totality. We need to collect other pieces of the totality to so we can combat Lex Luthor.
Yep, to combat Doom.
Yeah, we need to combat Doom. So they go into the future and the past to collect them.
Yep,
Where
for
and
the Justice League. Um,
Kamandi is who they meet up with first.
yeah, they meet up with Kamandi, and then their Justice League has been
Yeah.
brainwashed by Brainiac.
And this all happens during an event called Doom War, which is like the end of the year of the villain. Um, where it's basically the Legion of Doom versus the Justice League. Who's going to win? Or who's going to be able to stop Lex Luthor? Or
Yep.
will Doom conquer the world? It's essentially
So
that. It's a fight for the hearts and minds of people.
yep, and so they get Superman, and a few other heroes get thrown into the future. Some of them remain in the present, and then some of them get thrown to the past with the Justice Society of America,
Yeah, which has been brought back
which
since Doomsday Clock, but no one knows it.
yeah, because
Which
Doomsday Clock hasn't ended.
yeah, which also, but here's the thing: it still doesn't make sense Because Barry Allen doesn't recognize Jay Garrick, and Jay Garrick doesn't recognize Barry Allen. Well, I mean, Jay Garrick shouldn't recognize Barry Allen, but Barry Allen should have some idea of who Jay Garrick is.
Listen, man.
So there's that.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that I picked up on where I was like, that makes no sense regardless of Doomsday Clock.
Yeah. So the Justice League gets their hands on what they need for their totality.
Yeah. They
and
come
then,
back with some members from the future and the past.
Yep, they come back with Superman 3 million.
Yeah.
Which is like Superman's descendant who has 4D vision.
Yeah,
whatever.
They're coming back from a potential future that Brainiac has been cataloging. Because Brainiac has a bunch of futures in the jar and he's trying to find the totality piece before the Justice League.
Yep.
So they're jumping through them all.
Now it's this giant war in the present with the Justice League and the Legion of Doom.
So cool.
And the fight is for the people's heart's mind, like you said.
Yeah.
And the Justice League loses.
The Justice League basically, so they were going to construct the totality, right? But something happens with Hawkgirl, and she tries to kill Lex Luthor. She fails. They don't get to lock Perpetua back in the wall. So they're like, "What are we gonna do?" Like, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna die fighting, because if nothing else, we're gonna show everyone that we're gonna keep fighting for them, even though we know it's pointless. And it kind of makes sense when they say it. I'm not describing it properly.
It was basically like, we're gonna show them the example of what good can be.
Yeah.
And hopefully, whether we fall or not, someone will come after us.
We are going to fight in the face of impossible odds. Right?
Yep, and then
they lose.
Yeah, and then
they fucking, like, for a second, so in the sky there's been like the Legion of Doom symbol, and like the inverse of that symbol is the symbol of justice. Like, it's like the Justice League Hall of Justice, which Batman is piloting like a fucking mech, by the way.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I was like, oh my god. That was one of the coolest moments in comics I've seen in a while. That the Hall of Justice just like gets up and Batman's like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But for a second, the sky like lights up with the symbol of justice, but then the world chooses Doom.
Yeah. People ain't shit.
Yeah, people ain't shit. And Lex Luthor is like with Perpetua. I'm trying to remember this. I'm trying to remember if this happens early on in. No, it happens before Death Metal, because during Death Metal, the Batman Who Laughs is there. Just from the beginning. You want to talk about exactly what happens?
So Lex Luthor has been Perpetua's right hand man. He revived her. Yeah. She gave him power, gave him the power to be the apex predator, but he keeps failing in the ways that matter to her, which is like to kill the Justice League, to get them completely off the board, and he's just dropping the ball over and over again.
Yeah. And the Legion of Doom has been turned into a throne.
Yeah.
Just putting that one out there.
And then in the meantime, the Batman Who Laughs has been like subtly fucking over Lex by like talking in his ear, saying, "Oh, you ain't shit." He's not outwardly saying this, but he's like, "Yeah, you should try this maybe."
Yeah.
And then Lex does it, and then he fails, and then the Batman Who Laughs basically goes up to Perpetua, was like, "Yeah, I don't know why he did that. He's failing you. You saw my results.
You hate what I am. You think I'm disgusting, but
I get shit done.
I get shit done, and I have an infinite supply of people to do it."
The Dark Multiverse.
The Dark Multiverse.
So the Batman Who Laughs then dethrones Lex as Perpetua's right-hand man.
Yeah.
And then Perpetua takes control of totality, and then death metal immediately starts.
Yeah. Essentially, all. So at the end of the Justice League run, all the heroes disappear, and they're on the moon, right?
Yep, and
And
like the
the
Pantheon,
not like I don't know what to call them. I can't remember what they called
I
them.
think they're called the Pantheon, and it's like Zeus,
It's Zeus.
one of
It's
one of the
the
Owens,
mysterious stranger is in
the
there.
Phantom Stranger,
The Phantom Stranger.
the Spectre, Shazam, the Wizard Shazam, and Ganthet of the Green Lantern Corps.
Yes, Ganthet is there.
They kind of take the Justice League away from what Perpetua did on Earth
Yeah,
and separated them outside the universe so that they're not affected by it.
yeah. And then
Um,
they basically go like, "Hey, you have a chance. You can go and try to fight again. This is your opportunity." And they immediately go through that door. And then if you were to do a cut right into Dark Knight's death metal, you would have no idea what happened.
yep, because basically they tried to fight again
They do a jump cut, and it's just Wonder Woman as
a
a
jailer
jailer. Like Wonder
for the
Woman,
Batman Who Laughs.
yeah, they're all working for the Batman Who Laughs, except for Batman.
Yep,
Um,
who was killed.
yeah, but we don't know that. He's he's rising the dead. I thought this was a cool like idea that they
Oh yeah,
brought on. He brings the dead to life with a Black
the
Lantern ring.
Black Lantern ring.
I was like, that is such a cool idea because it also lets you be like, oh, I don't know that Batman's dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Um,
what's going on? It's I thought that I had missed like a lead up into death metal.
but you know, it was just a smash cut.
It's just a direct cut. It's like what happened, which I think works
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah, so
Um,
Wonder Woman has been this jailer for the Batman Who Laughs, who has brought in more dark multiversal Batman in to kind of be wardens of the world.
yes,
Um, we get new Batman, like the Batman who became Gotham.
baby
Like he's
Batman,
actually like the city of Gotham, baby Batman, a wizard Batman, a Cthulhu Batman,
Doctor
um,
Bat Hatton,
Dr. Bathattan, which
the Doctor
oof.
Manhattan who laughs.
That comes later though.
I know, but it's so fucking cool.
And then there's also the T-Rex that's in Batman's cave.
I
He downloads himself into it
I
to eat people.
love
The
when
Batasaurus
they
Rex.
fucking like talk shit about him. It's like, oh, how you throw batarangs? It's like I'm working on it. They just make fun of
um,
him. There's a car, Batman. Batman has a
yeah,
car. And they
which they just shut off.
like straight up. They literally threw. They were like, okay, no more crazy Batman stuff after this. What can you think of?
Yeah.
Throw everything you can think of, and we will do it. We'll do Baby Batman. I do not care. We need to fill these panels.
And then there was also a Batman Lantern Corps,
Yeah,
which was pretty dope to
it
see.
was pretty dope to see. Like, there's a lot that works in death metal. That some of it doesn't, but I think overall, like, what it leads into is fucking very exciting.
Yeah.
But
So
let's get into it because we only have what 30 minutes.
yeah. So Wonder Woman has been a jailer for the Batman Who Laughs, basically putting in prison potential threats to this new world order.
Yeah.
And the newest addition being Wally West.
Yeah, Wally. Okay, we need to. I'll go over what's going on with Wally West really quickly, just very briefly because it's important for this story. Wally West. Something happens where Wally West ends up in jail. He's very guilty. Feeling. We can talk about it in a different thing. Maybe comics that weren't well received. We'll talk about it in that podcast episode. But he gets this event comic. It's a mini series called Flash Forward, where he goes and he's sucking energy out of worlds that are getting infected with the dark multiverse. Um, he meets up with like President Superman and characters like that. He finds his kids, and it ends with him finding out that this is all to make him like ready to become like kind of a new Mobius. He kind of gets the energy of Doctor Manhattan.
Yep, he gets
He
the
gets
new.
the thing on his forehead. Because the idea is that because Wally West, because of things that happen with his character, he is untethered to the multiverse. He doesn't really belong anywhere. He's the only character like this, really. This character Tempest Fuginaut, who is also the one who you see in the Dark Tales from the Dark Multiverse. He's like
narrating it.
He's the narrator. He's the guide for the Tales from the Dark Multiverse. He calls Wally West and he sits him in the Mobius chair. And Wally West kind of becomes this emotionless, cold, like
omnipresent
character. Which they immediately kind of went, no, he's just Wally West with a thing on his forehead.
He's just blue.
He's just blue now. it's exactly that. But yeah, that's all you really need to know. He now has like some of the powers of Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, so
and he looks badass in that blue suit. I like the blue suit.
Yeah, he's the newest prisoner of this place, and it kind of sets off a chain of events that leads to a meeting of the Batman, the evil Batman with the Batman Who Laughs, who Batman kills right off the bat.
Batman doesn't kill the Batman Who Laughs.
Wonder Woman does. Wonder Woman kills him.
So
she fucks up the plan.
Yeah, your timeline is a lot of it goes the meeting with all the Batmen. Batman attacks it, and then he runs away. And then Wonder Woman goes down to see Wally West and be like, because she doesn't know
who's the prisoner.
Who's the prisoner? She sees it's Wally West. The Batman Who Laughs shows up. Wonder Woman murks him.
Yep, which was part of his plan.
Which is insane.
Because then
it's an insanity.
The other Batman, while Wonder Woman is running away with Wally West and the prisoners to find Batman and Superman, the evil Batman take the brain of the Batman Who Laughs and puts it into Dr. Bat-Hatton.
Yeah, a Bruce Wayne who did the Dr. Manhattan experiment.
Yep, and who the Batman Who Laughs immediately killed before he became omnipresent.
Yeah.
Put his brain they put
he disconnected his he didn't kill him. He just disconnected his thing. He basically turned him into
a vegetable.
A vegetable. Which is important because of what they do.
They put his brain in there, and then his brain takes over the body, and the Batman Who Laughs then becomes omnipresent.
He becomes the Darkest Knight.
Yeah, he doesn't refer to himself as the Batman Who Laughs anymore. He's just the Darkest Knight.
Yeah.
And now he has the power to combat Perpetua on her level.
Yes, because Dr. Manhattan is, he's got to be a sixth, dimension entity, right?
I think he's as close as you can be to being a sixth dimension being. Yeah,
I think that's like the best way to put it.
Which Perpetua
he's higher than Mxyzptlk, but probably lower than like a hand.
Yeah, because Perpetua is still kind of weak, he can really fight her.
Absolutely.
The Batman Who Laughs goes ahead and starts doing this to then create his own multiverse, which isn't great for anybody.
No,
not even his people.
Perpetua, by the way, during all this has been destroying worlds,
Multiverses. Yeah.
like destroying universes in the multiverse. Like Captain Carrot's universe has been destroyed, which
The
is
vampire Batman's universe
yeah.
was destroyed.
Gotham by Gaslight. They basically touch on everything in
Yeah,
this event,
Gotham
which
by
is
Gaslight just murks.
I think the reason why this event, for at least for me, worked so well was because they, as a longtime reader, they really do deep cuts.
Yep.
Like, because Gotham by Gaslight is one of those things that shows up. It's less of a deep cut now because they have the animated movie,
Yep.
but
But it
like
was like it was
that's pretty deep cut.
um yeah, she's doing this to coalesce her power. Um and then the Batman who laughs in interrupts her. They get into a fight in this big omnipresent battle. And then Batman and Wonder Woman go to save Superman, who like a dark side Batman has imprisoned.
Yeah, the Batman
Um,
who dark sides, as they call him.
yeah, and then this Superman has been infused with anti-life.
Yeah,
And he has like that rocker hair again.
it looks
And
good.
then yeah, and then this is where when they free Superman out, Batman kind of collapses because he gets shot with an Omega beam, and everybody thinks he's dead, but then he just gets back up.
I mean, that's what he just. But that's just Batman with an Omega beam. He always just gets back up.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
time he's been shot with one, he's gotten back up.
Um,
Statistically
but
speaking, he's invulnerable.
Wonder Woman goes to help him up, and like, "You're cold. What's happening here?"
I like
And
how
then he kind of
Batman's.
brushes it off. The only person who knows is Superman
Yeah.
at this point.
I mean, I should have known better just because it's like you never see a living Black Lantern, you know? And Batman's been summoning the dead. So,
Yeah,
like, he's been literally fighting with, what's his name? He's a, like, World
Jonah
War
Hex.
II. No, not Jonah Hex.
Oh, the Commando.
Yeah, the guy who's writing in the journal the entire time.
Sergeant Fury.
Yeah, he's great.
Um,
Like,
yeah.
it's all
So
told from his perspective.
and then Batman. Then when they rescue Superman, they kind of go back into a crypt where Batman is kind of just like going through all the heroes who are dead.
I want you. I want you.
Yeah, and then
Batman's
at
a
the end
kid
he's
in a
like,
candy store.
and then at the end of that he's like, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna bring all of them back to life.
Yeah.
And then they kind of have this calm before the storm, with like all the heroes kind of like meet all the heroes and villains kind of meet up and like, hey, we've had some differences. Let's kind of work past them, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that Dick Grayson and Barbara get married for a day.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Because I don't read
Superman.
Batgirl, so, like, that was like, huh?
hmm Superman spends his last moments with his family.
Yeah.
Um,
It,
Wonder Woman
it's all the
kind of,
characters from all, like, the dead multiverses, too,
yep.
coming together. So, Black Canary and Green Arrow meet their daughter from an alternate world where they basically have each other's powers.
Yeah, it was like yeah, it was just they were just reversed.
Yeah, they were just reversed. And like they basically like adopt her, like in that moment, kind of.
hmm
Yeah.
The Bat family comes together and it's like, yep, this
Damien
is it.
wants nothing to do with them because Alfred's dead and Bruce hasn't said sorry yet.
Yeah. Jason is kind of welcomed back and is like, yeah, anybody have like ammo,
Jason going
knives?
with that armory like dealer.
hmm
Amazing like little things. All the Titans, all the different like Teen Titan teams, all on one
Yep.
beach.
And then
Wally West showing
uh
up.
and then everybody being quiet, and then Batman raising the dead, and Roy Harper coming back, and
Yeah,
in a redeeming moment for that comic that I do not like.
I
Kind
liked it
of
up until the end.
gives a nod to Wally. Is like, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, for the
and
record, we're talking about Heroes in Crisis,
yeah,
which
where
we'll, we
Wally,
will we will talk about in detail at
yeah.
some point. Um,
Um, and then they go to war with the Batman Who Laughs, his forces, Perpetua's forces.
Lobo turns into a bunch of Lobos.
Yeah.
Lobo
Um,
bleeds. So what you gotta know about Lobo is every time like Lobo gets cut in half, he just essentially becomes a new Lobo.
mhm.
So they did a thing where it's like Lobo is bleeding and like a bunch of Lobos grow. So Wonder Woman,
And that's Wonder Woman's army.
yeah, Wonder Woman's army is just Lobos. Superman's
They
army is a bunch of villains.
and then Batman has the Dead,
Yeah,
and then you have the Titans, and then the other heroes.
yeah. There was a moment where they're trying to collect something called anti-crisis energy, where they went back to
The crisis
all the
point,
crises,
but they've been
crises.
twisted by the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, and
Um,
Superboy Prime comes back,
yeah,
which I
uh,
loved. I loved his tie-in comic.
yeah, and Wonder Woman was the one who got to him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Wonder
she
Woman
kind
talks him
of
out of it.
she pleads to his humanity, uh, and because he wasn't a bad person.
He's still not like. Let's put it this way: he's just a character that lost his home and wants to go home.
Yeah, so
That's his
she kind
whole
of
goal.
she talks him into fighting for them,
Yeah,
with them, and because he's also kind of untethered, not in a way that Wally is,
yeah.
but like he's very
He has nowhere
untethered
to
to
be.
the universe.
Yeah,
He immediately launches an offensive towards the Batman who laughs, the Darkest Night.
yeah. He gives them an He gives everyone an opportunity that they needed. Like there was like a moment where it seemed like all hope was lost, and he goes and he somehow fucking fights him.
Yep. And then also another cool moment with Batman. Batman has resurrected the body of the Batman who laughs to fight him.
Yeah, and then the Batman Who Laughs turns on him, and then he does another thing.
Yeah,
Like
because like
there was like a double cross thing that was
because it
amazing.
was like the Batman who laughs original body was resurrected by Bruce, and but has enough of that omnipresent energy from his brain
Yeah,
to fight the power of the Black Ring.
I mean he's still the Batman Who Laughs, a character that has been beaten into the ground at this point.
Yeah.
He can never come back.
Um,
He can at this point it's too much. He can never come back.
they'll find a way.
They will find a way,
Um,
but it can't be in like in the next 5 years. It has to be like next
um,
big crisis event.
yeah. Then Batman just is just like, yeah, you kind of need me to still win
Yeah,
because without me winning, there's no you.
yeah, and the entire backdrop to this, as is all of this is happening, there is still the ever looming threat that the hands are coming, like other entities like Perpetua. Perpetua
Are
is
coming
dead.
to wipe them out.
By the way, the Batman Who Laughs beats Perpetua.
Yep.
So now he's the big threat, but also the hands are going to come and wipe out the DC multiverse because they see it as a threat. At least that's what we've been told from Perpetua and the Batman Who Laughs and a couple other characters.
Mm-hmm. And then
Um,
the Batman the Darkest Night, because I kind of have to separate the
yeah,
two
yeah, you're
people.
right.
The Darkest Night then summons
Shadow
Dark
Batman.
Multiversal Superman.
Yeah,
Like the Last Sun, which is like this really like his concept design is just fucking amazing.
the
It's
concept
a
of the
super
character is crazy.
it's like a Superman that went through black holes on his way to Earth and absorbing those energies.
Like he went through every sun on the way. That,
Hmm.
that that was the idea. It's like he went through every sun on the way to Earth.
And he's just like
He's a living star.
he's supremely powerful,
Yeah.
but they do end up killing him. Is it Superboy Prime that kills him?
I think Superboy Prime is fighting him, and then like he goes off and fights the Batman Who Laughs.
Okay.
But we should talk about Wonder Woman, so we have a little bit
So
of time
Wonder
at the end
Woman.
for what's happening now.
Yeah, so Wonder Woman doesn't she goes back into the World Forge, right?
Yeah, she goes to the World Forge. Lex Luthor has at some point in the story, Lex Luthor came and basically said, "Hey, I have this blueprints for a machine that like uses truth and something." And like it's important that he says the words that uses truth.
Yeah, because that's core to Wonder Woman's
Yeah,
character.
it's and he hands them a book. That book gets lost on the way to the World Forge because all of the dark shit between there and between the DC universe and the World Forge is killing Lobos, and Lobo just fucking sacrificed himself. By the way,
Yeah, for Wonder Woman. Um,
Lobo was a great character. Or
um, the Bat Who Frags.
yeah,
Um,
the Bat Who Frags, fucking Batman Lobo was a great addition.
yeah, so Wonder Woman gets to the World Forge and just throws herself into the last dying embers of the World Forge.
Incorrect.
Well,
she
is
she lowers her lasso into it, and it comes and like all the energy from the World Forge goes into the lasso, and it comes up, and it cloaks her.
I don't
And
know why I thought she threw herself in.
because that's what they did last time.
Oh,
That's why. Because
um,
it's the obvious thing that they would do.
um, and then she kind of comes out golden to
Yeah.
fight the Bat Who Laughs.
Yeah, she basically becomes like an entity on that level.
Yeah, she becomes a six-dimensional being.
And she fucking goes to town on him. But there was a
Um,
moment in that fight before she's about to end it where he's like, "The world is gonna end if you stop me. If you work with me together, I will make a world where you're all young and in your prime, and like I
like
will I will give you
I'll
I'll give
put it
you
right.
one universe, and you don't have to
Um,
worry about me. You don't have to worry about anything." And it's like she goes, even if he's telling the truth, like she takes a moment, she imagines it, and then she pushes him into a dying star and kills him.
yep,
She
because
she emulates him.
it wouldn't be worth the risk, and
Yeah.
like she's kind of banking on the mercy of these other beings.
Yeah. But in the end, like she doesn't know what's gonna happen. She just knows that it would be worse. Like there's no worth in a universe like this.
Yeah, and so she kills the Darkest Night, and then everything goes blank,
Yeah.
and then she's kind of confronted with
I'm gonna
it's
go
not
I'm gonna go grab it because it's a great panel. I'm gonna grab the book.
yeah
Keep talking about it
um
though.
it's kind of odd because I'm not sure whether or not she's confronted with a version of herself, a version of her mother, or just something that is using this as a perception filter so that she understands it. Um, and it's very fucking wild. Um, yeah, the universe just goes blank, and then it's just these six-dimensional beings uh talking to Wonder Woman, basically kind of offering her a deal of some sort. Um, and then it kind of just sets up the rest of the DC universe right now as it is. Um, yeah, the end of Death Metal is really wild.
Huh.
That it just ends all this stuff and then sets everything back into motion. Um,
Find it. Oh, there it is. It was up here. Sorry, what were you saying?
no, I was just saying that this scene that you're getting ready to show is like it
It's
just
beautiful.
culminates into everything that the DC universe is now progressing forward with.
Yeah. It's this like just beautiful moment with Wonder Woman and this like the old design of Wonder Woman. You know,
Yeah,
this
but like,
like
is that like the other six-dimensional beings talking to her through her?
this is the source. I think talking to her. Like this is like actually like the source. No, no, it's one of the hands. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So it is like
yeah,
one of the six-dimensional beings. It's one of like the gods on the level of Perpetua.
yeah, and like they kind of come to Wonder Woman with like, yeah, you said things right.
It's like
Congratulations.
here's a being who we admire.
Yeah,
Is what they say, and then they show up as Wonder Woman.
and then they kind of offer her a new place in the universe.
Yeah, and then they walk off into existence, and it seems like everything's been set right, only
Yep.
better.
Yet now everything that the crises and everything are now officially back to canon.
They got a party.
Um, yep, all the old heroes are back. The Justice Society of America. Um, yeah, everything is just set with the future being open to new possibilities.
Yeah.
And now Wonder Woman is part of this pantheon of upper gods in the universe.
Uh, well, not exactly, but we're gonna get to that in a second. What it does end with, though, very importantly, is this moment where this on the dark side of the moon, in a space between spaces, on a vibrational frequency of 160.4 gigahertz, is the totality, which is a space where villains and heroes are coming together um, to protect the world from future threats. It's essentially a meeting space like the Hall of Justice or like the Legion of Doom headquarters. You have Talia al Ghul, Lex
Vandal
Luthor,
Savage.
Vandal Savage, all these characters. They allude to the events of Future State and things. They're saying the universe is now infinite Earths. There are way more than 52 now. Like the map is no longer accurate. Is like it's infinite possibilities. It's an infinite frontier, and Infinite Frontier is the new DC imprint, like what Rebirth was, like what the New 52 was,
Mm-hmm.
where everything that's ever happened in the DC universe, I think you already said this, but everything that's ever happened in the DC universe from the inception of Superman until now is canon. And
Yep, and then
it's being remembered. It's not
yep, and
fully remembered by everyone, but it's slowly becoming back into their memories.
yeah, and
And
then
you see
I
like
think the
flash.
next page that you had was it like everything matters again, and it's like the page with the Justice Society of America, kind of coming back to the forefront of everything because they
Yeah,
were the first
yeah.
superhero team.
They're now canon again. Like it's basically setting what DC has done in the past 10 years, making it all part of the main DC universe from pre New 52.
Mm-hmm.
It's being like, okay, this is an event that happened in continuity that people know about instead of being like a just a rewrite for like a comic book publishing initiative. It's canonizing the initiative as in more of a history way for the like characters than
Mm-hmm.
a way for us to contextualize them. If that makes
Yep.
sense.
But it does though take Wonder Woman out of the equation.
Yeah, for now she has her own
Series one,
series
yeah.
now, which is I just got issue one, my last run of the comic shop, and I haven't read it yet. I'm very excited, but uh, this starts with Infinite Frontier, and Infinite Frontier. Do you have time to talk about it a little bit, like
Yeah, briefly, yeah.
the like we'll talk about the issue zero. We'll get into it really quickly because I think it's setting up like a lot of really cool stuff. Um, So issue 0, it's Wonder Woman being walked around through the new DC landscape by the Spectre? Was it?
Yeah, the Spectre.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Um, but yeah, Wonder Woman basically like kind of comes to in the aftermath and is brought before the what you called the Pantheon before, which sounds like a good a name as any to me for what they are, like the 5 big heroes, or
Mhm.
not heroes, but like kind of god entities. I know it's hard to see it, but she comes forward. She's been blasted out of the universe. She's wearing this fucking dope, like new character design. Like the redesign is really cool. Um, the Quintessence is what they're called.
Well, it's not the Pantheon yet, it's the Quintessence.
What a fucking crazy name. There's 6 of them. It's not a quint. The fuck. Anyway, they're like, hey, let's show you this. And the first thing that they show off is Superman is like in Kahndaq, and he finds out about Shazam, but it's Black Adam. But he started calling himself
Shazadam.
Shazadam, which sounded like a joke. Like people have been talking about it. It's like, hey, DC is gonna start calling Black Adam Shazadam. It's like that's funny. That's a funny joke, but they're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like become a hero. Hero is the idea. It seems like he's wanted to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah, which like Black Adam is definitely one of my favorite characters
Yeah.
because he definitely towed that line of anti-hero.
Well, you're lucky because you're gonna get a lot more of him now that the movie's coming out. He's gonna be leading the Justice League like next year, probably.
I'm happy
That's
about
what
it.
they're pushing towards. So if you're a Black Adam fan, now's a great time to read comics. Um,
Um
there's a event at Arkham where the
Joker kills Bane.
the Joker. It's what they're referring to it as A Day, I think, and it's a big like thing where a bunch of people have been killed at Arkham by the Joker. Right after Joker War 2, which is crazy. The Barbara Gordon is now doing Oracle things instead of Batgirl things, uh, which is cool. Back in that more hands off
Mhm.
or over like character kind of thing.
Yeah, Infinite Zero just sets up like these bigger events in each of these heroes runs.
Yeah,
Um
Hippolyta's gonna be Wonder Woman
mhm.
for a while. Nubia is gonna be the Queen of the Amazons. It sets up,
A new Wonder Girl.
future state Wonder Woman as Wonder Girl. Uh, it
It-
canonizes the fact that the original Green Lantern is gay,
yep.
which was a really touching
Yeah,
page.
because Obsidian is also gay.
Yeah, his son, like, and it's like he's just coming out to like his kids, and it's
Yeah, it's a really touching moment in the comics.
yeah. Uh,
And then
Titan's tower has become a school.
yep, Titans Academy, which is its own run with
It's
and they brought back Red X.
yeah for the first time in the comics because he was
Um
originally just a Teen Titans thing from the show. Um,
uh it's going back to the whole multiverse linked to the Flashes.
yeah.
And
Uh,
then the quintessence kind of gives Wonder Woman a mission to go to.
yeah. Roy Harper's back too. Roy Harper is alive
Yep.
again.
I don't think they know that yet though.
No one knows that at all. Stargirl is around.
And then I just went through it myself. I pulled it up on my end.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the quintessence is like, okay, we're on this planet Omega that is going to be the prison for the worst of offenders, and then they all get killed.
Yeah.
And then like in the dark, You see, I just reread it and I was like, I
There's
got giddy again.
goosebumps a little. And this is like,
It's like, now the universe is now infinite, but I am finite. I am the end. I am final. Dark side is final.
Darkseid is the end. Oh, it's so fucking cool. And a lot of people online are saying this is true form Darkseid.
Yeah, because this is
That's the
outside
idea.
of the universe.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, and like Infinite Frontier is a series that is going on right now. Uh, it says that Infinite Frontier 1 is coming in July 2021, but it's already been going for a few months, so I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, Infinite Frontier
We're
issue
on
number
like issue
5.
5, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. Maybe they just pushed up the thing because people were so excited. But it gives you a list of all the comics that have come out of essentially death metal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is our recap of the entire DC timeline. If you didn't go through if you weren't here for the previous 2 episodes, they're on YouTube. YouTube.com. Copper Cult is the channel. It's
Mm-hmm.
right down there below us. You can go watch them right now. This one will be up tomorrow at noon. They all go up on noon on Monday.
Yep, and then in other episodes we're definitely gonna be talking more about different events
Yeah,
that involve the DC history.
yeah.
So it's
Like
not like
this was.
we're doing these 3 and then it's done.
Yeah, this was an important primer. Like the reason why we did this is because we wanted to make sure that in the future when we're talking about things, if we ever like reference something that's a big event, we can just go like, okay, just go watch those episodes because
Yep.
we talked about literally every big event that
Yep,
has
and like
happened.
though we didn't go into like great detail because a lot more things happen in these events. Probably later on down the road we're gonna be getting into like the nitty-gritty of these
Yeah,
events.
we will have
Um,
episodes that are based around just singular comics, singular issues, probably at some points,
yeah.
um, because some crazy stuff's happening. I have a couple in mind. I know you have a couple in mind.
Yep.
We'll probably talk a little bit more about Marvel, but I will have to get myself caught up on some Marvel stuff.
Yeah. And then hopefully the next episode is not this.
Yeah,
It's gonna be me and you in person, which I'm really
because
happy about.
yeah, because your thing is almost done.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, and that would be next weekend, meaning either the 26th or the 27th. We'll be doing an in-person podcast, which I'm very excited for.
Yep. So am I.
Yeah, and you can find it right here at twitch.tv/the Copper Cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Well, I love doing this. So I know you have a schedule to keep, so
Yep.
we should end it here.
Work
Perfect time.
calls.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Peace.
I'll be here.